What's up, cousins? It's your girl, Meesh Westco, and we are back with another episode of Spill It with Meesh. Y'all read the title, Healing Ain't Pretty, the Ugly Side of Growing. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you comment and subscribe, and let's lock in, cousins. So, don't y'all hate how I hate how people make it seem like healing is just spa dates, picnics in the park, yoga sessions, when that's not the truth. You have to go through a storm before you even decide you're worthy of a spa date, a yoga session, or even a nice meal. So it looks like 2 a.m. crying because you now have boundaries in place, and now you have to stand on your boundaries even for yourself. Nobody talks about those parts of it, and we're about to tonight. Because it's a lot of the times that your session and growing is hindering you getting to the next level. And we're not doing that no more, y'all. This is the year of intention. How long have I been saying it? Y'all? Since the year started. This is the year of intention. We are intentionally growing. We are intentionally changing, and we are intentionally changing these cycles. We no longer want to be misunderstood. We no longer want to hinder our growth. We are not prisoners of our growth. Yeah, and let that one sting you a little bit. We are no longer prisoners of our growth. So before we get into the episode, y'all already know we have to make our drink. We have a simple espresso martini where I am using on the rocks and whip shots tonight to craft our drink. So cousins, come close, have a seat, make sure you have all of your ingredients. Please check my highlights for the recipe on how to make this drink. So we are going to grab our glass and our shaker. Y'all know we love our shaker. So in my shaker, I have some ice already. So make sure you have your shaker with some ice. We have our glass. I would recommend doing it chilled. I chilled mine, but it's gone already, so it's cold. But so we have our ice. We have 2 ounces of on the rocks. We're going to pour that over our ice. We have the coffee liqueur. We have about 1 ounce of the coffee liqueur. And we are going to close the shaker. Make sure your shaker is 100% sealed so that you already know. So y'all not spilling it with cousin Meesh, okay? We don't want to spill. But before we shake, we are going to rim our glass. I just have some chocolate syrup on a plate, and we are going to rim our glass and drizzle in the inside. So just take the rim and just drizzle it, or just like slide it through the chocolate. I'm not a bartender, so I don't really know the verbiage to use. Okay, yes. So we have a nice rim on her. And then we are going to take the chocolate syrup and we're going to drizzle in the inside. You can just make it cute. Okay. And we are going to shake, right? Till our ancestors say stop. Shake what you got in them jeans, then grab the wall and shake it like a dog. Shake what you got in them jeans, then grab the wall and shake it like a dog. So, my ancestors told me to stop. My drink is already cold. I can feel it. And we are going to do a slow pour. I always see bartenders hit the side. I said I was going to start doing that. So, we are going to slowly pour our drink into our drizzled chocolate martini glass. Okay. And we are going to top her off with some whip shots. So this is a vodka infused whipped cream, and I have it in the flavor mocha. So and if you want to count calories, that's on you, cousin, but I'm not thick for nothing. So I am finished with my drink. You guys should be too. Let me see how it looks. Make sure you guys use hashtag drink of the episode and tag us as SpillitwithMeesh on all platforms, okay? So let's try her. Wow. This is my favorite drink, and I don't think I've had one this good. So, okay. So let's get into it, y'all. So we're going to get into, like I said, the healing, the ugly side, right? We always talk about the good sides. We always talk about I was with my friends. I went to brunch. I took myself on a lunch date. But cousin, when you have to like now put those boundaries in place and you're talking to your mom and she's like battling who the new you is, cousin, that's ugly. And what do you do in those situations, right? Do you fold? No, you're a new person, right? You have to stand up for the person you're becoming. Even against your mom, even against your significant others. Like, you might have to like break up. I'm not saying to break up. I'm saying you might have to now instill your new boundaries with you and with anybody else. So that is not pretty. That does not feel good in the moment. You're battling like, oh my God, is this the right thing to do? And then you're battling, I know it's the right thing to do because this is the boundary I now have set. So now I'm enforcing it for me and now this other individual. It's not always pretty. But that's okay, and we're gonna get to how it becomes pretty, right? Every storm has a rainbow at the end of it, so never forget that. So to kind of like get your minds going about how to familiarize yourself with these scenarios, we're gonna play a game of healing or hiding. So I'm going to throw out scenarios and you guys, we're going to talk about whether it's healing or hiding. Some of these can be answered both ways, just depending on perspective, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, cousins, and make sure you guys drop them down in the comments, whether you feel like these scenarios are healing or hiding for you and how you guys would address maybe the outcome for these, right? If you feel like you're hiding, what would be the outcome to feel like, let's get to healing? Or if you feel like you're healing, how would you categorize how you used to hide? I want to hear it. Drop them below. So the first one is you cut folks off without explaining, healing or hiding. So for me, I just feel like, again, perspective, how you look at it. But for me, I feel like if I cut you off and I didn't say anything, that was healing on my part, because I used to be so fixated on how the next person was going to feel. I would neglect how I was feeling or why I even want to cut this person off. And then I end up later on down the line having to actually make the separation anyway because I should have nipped it in the butt back then. But again, you guys, if you did not catch my boundaries episode in season 2, you're not going to understand where this is coming from. Boundaries being put in place is very imperative when you are healing. They're imperative for you and they're imperative for how you allow people to treat you. If you don't put them in place and you don't adhere to even yourself and making them stick, you are never going to get to the next levels. You are always going to let people continuously treat you in ways you are not okay with. And cousins, we're not doing that. We are growing. Year of intention. We are growing, okay? And we're going to keep addressing these things. So for me, I feel like that would be healing. Me cutting somebody else off without no explanation, that's healing to me. And how you guys feel about it is how you guys feel about it. So number 2, you start therapy and you show up consistently every week. Is that healing or hiding? That's healing to me. That is you taking the necessary steps to make sure you are getting the help that you need. You're taking it very serious. That's very much a healing space, a healing mindset, and you're going to grow from those therapy sessions. You're going to grow from putting that into your schedule and making sure you do not miss it. You prioritize it. That's important. So number 3, you ghost someone because you can't handle tough conversations. I used to be guilty of this. I feel like this is a form of hiding. And I feel like this is a form of hiding because you may still have something you want to say. It's not necessarily you're ready to walk away. You may have something to say, but now you're suppressing what you have to say for fear of how they react. I also feel like this could be healing because a person, I feel, will not speak up for themselves against individuals they see repeat behavior from. So if they know a person is going to be argumentative or combative, they may suppress what they're feeling just for fear of the interaction. I've been there before. I know cousins, a lot of us have been there, like with our families, with our mothers, with our fathers. You feel like there's no breaking point. There's no point for you to speak up for yourself because this is your mom or your dad. That's not how that goes. When you become an adult, you're allowed to speak up for yourself. Even as a child, that doesn't make you defiant. That doesn't make you disobedient for not agreeing with how someone is speaking to you or feeling like you need to defend yourself. But again, y'all, we're going to keep unpacking. Stay with cousin, okay? Season 3, I got some gems for y'all, okay? We're going to keep cooking, cousin. Make sure you stay tuned every Wednesday, 8 p.m., okay? So, number 4, you stop dating and you call it self-care. But really, you're scared of getting hurt again. Is that healing or hiding? That would be hiding. But depending on how you look at the spectrum, it can also be healing. What if you're not ready to start dating again and you don't want to put your not necessarily your toxic ways, but you don't want to put your past trauma onto the next individual because you haven't fully healed? I think that is necessary steps into healing. Now, if you stay in there and you just like, the full defense is you don't want to be hurt, that is hiding. But if you're sparing yourself or the next individual, that's healing. So like I said, it just really depends on how you look at both spectrums of what's happening. So another way of kind of just making sure you're staying mindful of these scenarios or of when you're feeling bad, like, cousin, have you ever just woken up like the day started, it's just shitty from front to back, and you're like, am I even doing the right thing anymore? Is this for me? Who is this beneficial to? And then you get up the next morning and then you power through your day. You're having a great day. You're able to project onto the next, not project, but you're able to instill positivity onto the next person. Cousins, that's what that's what all of this is about. This is about those days, but that is the key factor here. I want you guys to know that just because you had that little shitty day, the next day is not going to be like that. And you have to understand mindset over matter, mind over matter, always mind over matter. The situation could be large. You could have a bad day. That you're human. We're human, you guys. We are going to have bad days, but what you do with the rest of it is completely up to you. I have bad days. Sometimes I'm asking myself, who am I to be giving any advice, or who am I to be speaking to a whole audience when sometimes I'm in turmoil and I feel like I'm fighting for my life in my own mind? Cousin, it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the journey. That's how I'm even here to be able to have these conversations with you guys. We have to do the work. Sometimes I get up, I'm like, I don't want to do the work. How am I going to learn? How am I going to grow if the work is not done? That's just like work. If you go to work continuously day after day and you don't do your work, you're not going to have a job. Point blank, period. If I don't keep continuing to do this day after day, just because I have a bad day, I don't get up and decide, okay, I'm doing something else. That's how you really cook too. That's how you really, your mind really gets you to elevating to the next level. You have to have a bad day. Point blank, period. So some of you guys shared to me the hardest parts about your healing journey. So Somebody said that admitting that I was the toxic one, that's deep. And I've been there. I've had to admit I'm the toxic one in this situation. I am the one that is in turmoil and I don't know how to overcome this. That's very much healing. That's not hiding. But if you just understand you're the toxic one and you still want to be the toxic one, that's hiding. You're toxic and you should probably look into healing. I said what I said. Period. Letting go of chaos I thought was love. So stepping away from a situation, even after trying, even after giving it all you have, if it's breaking you, you have to get to the rainbow. You have to get to the beautiful rainbow after the storm. You can't stay there. And with you understanding and knowing that you're in this situation and it's chaos and you're just allowing chaos, you're not doing yourself any services. You're actually disrespecting the fuck out of yourself. Don't forget I said that. So healing is crying while setting boundaries and still missing them. Like I said, you find this a lot in individuals. When you set a boundary in place for an individual, sometimes it causes you and the individual to kind of separate while that boundary starts to cook. Because now you've taken away the norm and now you've instilled something that you are not okay with. That's going to take time. And you have to understand that you are not wrong for putting the boundary in place. The other person just has to learn how to adapt. And if they stay out of your life forever, that's what they were supposed to do. It's crazy how things will phase out. But like Nipsey said, circle got smaller. Everybody can't go. Don't forget that. So, I'm sorry. That's it. How long is that?
So, we gotta wrap it up.
Oh, okay. I'll wrap it up then.
Do a review?
Huh?
Do a review of what you said.
Okay. All right, guys. So, just to wrap up and sum up what we kind of unpacked here, I want you guys to understand that those bad days, those bad weeks, those bad months, say you've had a bad year, cousin, you have to keep pushing. You are going to be the positivity that drives you into the next level. You have to understand that that bad day does not determine your fate. We've run into so many things that are going on in the world. The economy is not the same, but mindset has to be. Mindset has to know that there is a beautiful rainbow after all of this storm. Whether it takes years, whether it takes months, it doesn't matter, because you have to understand that you are capable of creating that rainbow. And I don't want you to ever forget that. I'm going to always remind you guys of that here because, cousin, I fight every day. I fight every day. It is hard. Going into a place of not understanding like what the true outcome is of next, only having a dream, only fixating on having a dream, cousin, that gets hard. And so with me being that transparent to you, I want you guys to be transparent with yourself. I'm no different from you guys. I go to work. I still work on this on the side. Sometimes I may even get another job. Okay? We're in that type of economy, okay? We have to be mindful. We have to be graceful to ourselves. But we have to ultimately understand this ain't it. This ain't it, and it does not last forever. But until next week, you guys, I am your cousin Meesh West Coast. This has been another great episode of Spill It with Meesh. Make sure you guys drop your comments. Make sure you guys drop how you guys felt about this episode. I love hearing your guys' feedback. And tap in with me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I am on Facebook. Tap in with your girl. And I will see you guys next week for another episode. Bye.